All right, let's jump right in. Today, we're taking a deep dive into your brain to ask a really fundamental question. How do you actually experience the world around you? Because, as it turns out, the answer is way more bizarre and amazing than you probably think.
So, I want you to start with this simple question. Just take a second and think about it. How many senses do you have?
If you said 5, sight, sound, smell, taste, and touch, you're definitely not alone. I mean, that's the answer pretty much all of us would give.
And hey, there's a good reason for that, right? This idea goes all the way back to Aristotle in ancient Greece, and it's what's been taught in schools for literally centuries. It's a nice, simple package, but it's also completely wrong. Because what scientists are discovering now tells a totally different story about how we perceive reality. That idea of 5 neat little channels feeding information to your brain, it's pretty much a myth.
The actual number, according to a lot of neuroscientists, well, it's closer to 33. Yeah, 33. 33 distinct ways that we are sensing the world at any given moment, all working together. We won't go through every single one, don't worry, but we are going to explore the incredible system that makes it all possible.
So let's go beyond those familiar 5 senses. It's time to debunk this ancient myth and really get into what's happening inside your head.
You see, the old way of thinking saw your senses as these separate pipelines, right? Vision did its thing over here, hearing did its thing over there, and they never really crossed paths. But what we know now is that our senses are constantly talking to each other, blending all their information together to create one single, unified perception of the world.
And that brings us to the really cool part, how this all works. Let's talk about the brain's amazing blending process. There's a whole field of science dedicated to it called multisensory integration.
So what is multisensory integration? Well, it's basically the brain's master strategy for taking all this messy, chaotic information from dozens of different senses and weaving it all together into the smooth, coherent reality that you experience every single moment of your life.
You know what? Here's a great way to picture it. Think of your brain as a world-class movie editor. It's taking the video feed from your eyes, the soundtrack from your ears, and then dozens of other special effects tracks, like temperature, balance, even pain. And it's editing them all together in real time to create the seamless movie that is your life.
So how does it actually pull this off? Well, scientists have kind of broken down this incredibly complex job into 4 key steps. You can think of them as the 4 pillars of perception. So the whole process follows this roadmap. First, transduction, then convergence, then synthesis, and finally adaptation. This is literally the blueprint your brain uses to build your reality. Let's break them down one by one.
Okay, pillar number 1, transduction. This is just a fancy word for converting stuff from the outside world into electrical signals the brain can understand. And it's not just about light and sound. You've got special receptors for temperature, for pain, and for knowing where your body parts are without even looking. That's called proprioception. It's how you can touch your nose with your eyes closed. You even have senses for your internal state, like your heart rate or blood pressure.
Next up, pillar 2, convergence. This is where all those different signals finally meet up in the brain. And here's the thing, your brain has to start making choices. A perfect example is the ventriloquist illusion. You've seen this, right? You see the puppet's mouth moving while you hear a voice. So your brain makes a judgment call. It decides the sound must be coming from the puppet. It's trusting your eyes over your ears to figure out location.
Pillar 3, synthesis, is where the real magic happens. This is where totally new experiences are created from the mix. Think about the flavor of your coffee. It's not just what you taste on your tongue, right? No way. It's a synthesis of the taste, the amazing smell, the heat and texture in your mouth, and even the sound of you sipping it. That whole package, that's flavor.
And finally, we have pillar 4, adaptation. Your brain isn't set in stone. It is constantly learning and recalibrating. A powerful example is what happens with sensory deprivation. For someone who is blind, the brain doesn't just let the visual cortex sit there doing nothing. It often rewires it to process sound instead, leading to a much sharper sense of hearing. The brain literally adapts.
Okay, so this is all fascinating science, but what does it really mean for you in your day-to-day life? Let's talk about why this process of building your reality matters so much.
At its core, your brain is basically a prediction machine. It's constantly taking in all this messy, sometimes contradictory information from those 33 senses, and it's making its best guess about what's actually out there. It learns to prioritize the most reliable information for the job, like your vision for figuring out where something is, all to build a stable, useful picture of the world that helps you navigate it. And understanding this process has some huge real-world consequences. We're using it to build way more immersive virtual reality experiences. It's helping us understand and treat neurological disorders where this integration process goes haywire, like in schizophrenia. And we're even creating incredible devices that let people see using their tongue or hear through vibrations on their skin. It's amazing stuff.
And all of this leads us to the ultimate takeaway, which is a really profound shift in how we should think about our own experience of being alive.
It comes down to this. Your perception of the world isn't something that just happens to you. You are not a passive camera just recording what's out there. Instead, your brain is actively constructing your reality every single moment by weaving together all these different sensory threads. Your perception is an act of creation.
And so, I'll leave you with a final question to think about. If your brain is powerful enough to construct the very reality you see, hear, and feel, from nothing more than a bunch of electrical signals, what else is it capable of creating?